Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. For today, I will be using the Sailor Lecoul for my little scribble, and I'm really curious and a little bit excited about it. I believe this is the entry version in the world of Sailor fountain pens, and as such, the cheapest version that they offer. If by any chance you know something that is cheaper than this little thing, please do let me know in the comments below. I got this fountain pen from Amazon some time ago, and it's been sitting unused in a corner all this time, and today is the day where it gets to flex his nib. Well, not actually flex though, because it's not really a flex nib. My specific fountain pen came from Amazon warehouse and managed to get it at a cheaper price than it usually is being sold at. The downside of it is that it came pre-installed with an ink cartridge, and that will be the ink that I will be using for today. It did came in a very nice package without any damage or anything wrong with the pen. The nib was writing perfectly on both sides, so I'm not sure why it was returned. But I would assume that either the size or the way the nib feels on the paper might have been the issue. The good thing about it is that it came with two ink cartridges, it seems, so if by any chance I run out of ink, I do have a spare. Fortunately, both are black, so if by any chance I run out of ink during the drawing, I can switch seamlessly without an issue. Pretty cool little fountain pen. It is on the small side of things, and I would call this more of a pocket fountain pen, at least for my hand size. I would call it that because I can't really use it comfortably without posting it. For a quick on-the-run note might be okay, but not for long period of times. The cap has a functional clip and the threads on it are nice and smooth without any drama, and it posts quite nice and deep. I do like the balance of it once it's posted. The interesting part of the fountain pen for me is the actual nib. It has an almost flat appearance with a metal gun, kind of a like color. I don't know why I like it so much. Maybe it is because of the simplicity that it has, and the feed definitely completes the look of it. Maybe the combo of both is what makes me like it so much. They are a perfect match in my opinion. As mentioned, for ink today I am using the already installed cartridge, which I assume has some Sailor Black ink, which is quite dry from what I can tell. Probably is the Kiwaguro Black or Ultra Black. Just guessing. If you know better what kind of black ink Sailor is using in their cartridges, please do correct me in the comments section below. After not being used for a couple of months, the ink did dry out on the nib a little bit, but it started without any issues after 2 or 3 strokes on the page. Something that I did not cover in the video because I already used it a day before. The nib has a lot of feedback, which is not bad from my perspective, but might not be on everyone's liking. Almost gives a pencil-like experience, especially with that medium fine nib that it came with. And I like that quite a lot. I think the drier ink also helps with this. The nib feels more like an extra fine than medium fine, but that is kind of a normal when it comes to Japanese nibs. Writes perfectly okay on both sides, and reverse does give a little bit more feedback and a thinner line, and it feels even drier. Again, I do blame that on the ink. No line variation from the nib, it's pretty much stiff as a nail, but you do get a little bit of line variation just because when you press down you put more ink on the page. As I was playing with the fountain pen the day before making this drawing, something that I don't get to do since I wait to ink the fountain pen in the day that I decide to use it, the line that the fountain pen was making made me realize that I wanted to draw something with thin lines, obviously, and add a little bit more detail to it, or more detail than I usually do. and maybe give it some scratching feeling to it, maybe. I was undecided. So the first thing that came to mind was wheat or something similar to it. I mean, grass tends to be quite thin, so I thought it would be suited for my drawing for today. 5 strands or so of wheat standing tall, proud, and hopefully good looking. I actually took my time on this drawing and moved my hand a little bit slower than I usually do. I also was kind of distracted by the 4th season of Demon Slayer anime on Netflix. I tend to either have a movie playing in the background as I draw or listen to music. Today it was anime. Maybe the Japanese theme of the fountain pen is what pushed me towards it. And I do like watching anime from time to time too. Had to catch up on those episodes they recently released. By the way, sorry for generic and default music that I'm using in the background. Don't really have the cash to put into a subscription program where I could get different kind of other type of generic music that maybe is more pleasant to listen to. If anyone is interested, I can put together a YouTube playlist with the music that I'm actually listening while I'm working or putting on the paper. This is my second drawing that I did this week. I don't tend to do a lot of drawings during the week because of time and work and being too tired to do much, to be honest. So these weekly videos are what are forcing me to have a schedule and do at least a drawing a week. Hope in time I will get more time and have more drawings. I usually tend to do 2 to 4 quick little sketches aside the one that I do for the review. And that one, in theory, it's a little bit more serious, with more serious between quotes. Well, the second one that I did was not really a drawing, more like a weird scribble. Some sort of exercise that I usually do that helps me loosen up a little bit, because I literally do it without thinking and just let the hand do whatever it wants. And after that, I try and see if I can see any shapes and maybe develop it a little bit. This is what I would call an actual automatic drawing, because your mind is blank and you don't actually think about the drawing, you just let your hand wander on the page. Sometimes you get something interesting, sometimes you don't. A lot of times I don't see any shapes and just keep on wandering until I either do see something, or the page is full, or the fountain pen is out of ink. I also use this exercise when I try to empty a fountain pen of ink. I'd rather do something with the ink than leave it in the fountain pen to dry and waste it, or put it back in the ink bottle, because most probably the ink will be contaminated and I just don't want it back in the ink bottle. Plus, I think it's more fun this way. And you are going to see this as well tomorrow, literally just loose math scribbles without any plan. Not sure how many of you will enjoy this, but I will try and experiment with it, and as usual, have some fun with it. I won't do a lot of talking in that one, just a little bit of an intro maybe, and then just unplug and go for it basically. I'm trying to push myself to do as many drawings as I can, but without having a schedule, and trying to avoid the burnout if possible. Back to the drawing that I am doing right now, I was curious to see how water resistant the Sailor ink is. It's, I think, the first time maybe when I'm using this ink. So one thing that you will see me doing, and I haven't done this for a while, I use the dumb brush over some parts of the drawing. I like this effect and I should probably use it more often, even though it might not play very well with some of my loose scribbles. Well, at least not all of them. What I like about this is that it kind of gives a little bit more of a painting effect, closer to a water painting like style. Unfortunately, the ink did not turn out to be waterproof at all, but still kind of like the outcome. It actually pushed me to do a little bit more exploration and added some green and orange ink. And I have to admit, I kinda like or dig the results. I think the green and orange would have punched a little bit better if the black ink would have been more waterproof, but hey, it is what it is. I still kinda like it. However, it's definitely an idea that I want to pick up sometime in a future drawing. Hopefully. What do you think? Anywho, final thoughts on the fountain pen. To put it simple and short, personally I love it. That's it. No complaints from my side. I love the nib and how it feels on the paper, especially for drawing. However, keep in mind that the nib, at least on my copy, feels a little bit drier than usual. Partially could be because of the ink, partially could be because of how the nib is basically built and polished by Sailor. The combination for me works very well, but it might not be something that you like. So experimenting with it, if you can, will probably be ideal. If you do have this fountain pen, share your experience with it. It's good for others to see what everyone's experience is. My experience is mine and will not benefit everyone. And because since what I like might not be what everyone likes, obviously. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's where I stop my ramblings for today. Enjoy the rest of the time lapse if it's anything left out of it. And if you have any other questions, like usual, comments below and I will try and get to it as soon as I can. Thank you for joining me today. Hope I'll see you next time. Hope you'll enjoy the short video from tomorrow, which is just a drawing, not an actual review. And yeah, I wish you all the best and a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.